Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement. We like to give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a movie, and that movie is Kraven the Hunter. And here to go on that last hunt with me, of course, the triple threat, Chris Tria.
Gooch, I was craving a good movie, and I did not get what I was craving, sadly.
No.
So we've reached the end of SPUM. The Sony Pictures universe of Marvel movies is apparently come to an end. At least that's what I was seeing in articles for the past week.
Jesus Christ.
And just, Jesus Christ, who was the main actor in this?
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I was going to say Aaron Paul for some reason. Aaron Taylor Johnson was out there just being like, hey guys, give it a chance. Just trying. Felt kind of bad, but here we are. It's been a long journey from Venom in 2017 to now. Gooch, what did you think of Kraven the Hunter?
Boring.
Truly.
Couldn't have wanted to get out of that theater fast enough. I was checking my clock at every chance I could get. I wanted that movie to end at like any point.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to leave. I don't want to be here. This is boring. And it ended up being a much more in-depth look at Kraven's origin story than I really wanted or needed.
And like a making up of a new origin story, because it's not even like his origin story that is in the comics.
Right. He has like powers, and like that's not how Kraven is, and he fights like an animal. Again, not really what he is in the comics. He is just a very world-class hunter.
Yeah, who's trained his body and mind to the point where he can beat Spiderman. Like that's like the idea of him.
And he is like the ultimate hunt.
Right.
Yeah.
But in this, he gets attacked by a lion who drips some blood into his wound, and then takes a magic potion from like some Calypso lady whose grandmother was a mystic. Yeah, that's where we're at with Kraven the Hunter.
And then he takes the route of Mr. Oliver Queen and has a list and is starting to cross people off that list.
He doesn't. Oh, by the way,
he doesn't say you failed this city.
By the way,
but he does have some piffy lines of like, "I'm a hunter," like that kind of shit, and it's not.
I
good.
love Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think he's a great actor. He felt like he was just phoning it in this whole time and doing a very odd American accent that just felt off a lot of the time. He is a hunter, but no, he isn't. He hunts people. And by the way, he does do that in the comics, so that's fair. I'll take that. But he's Kraven the conservationist, Gooch.
Yeah.
Not
he's
Kraven
all
the hunter.
about protecting the environment and stopping poachers, and it's like, what?
But like he doesn't
Is this what we're trying to do to make our villain a little bit more likable?
And that's the thing we talked about coming out of the movie theater, and that they, man, and I'll give him 100% credit for in the in the Penguin. They didn't try to make him they tried to make fucking him a very nice guy, a hero.
They tried to make fucking him. That's what you just said.
My whole wire.
They tried to make him.
They tried to make Kraven a good dude, whereas the Penguin did not do that, is what I was trying to say. The Penguin fully leaned into the fact that he was he was a piece of shit who did terrible things. And Kraven kind of tries to do that. Like he kills people very easily and is very savage. And I think the movie starts off kind of strong, somewhat at least.
Right, he's in some Russian prison, and he's in there to kill a gang member, right. And he does, and we see a display of his powers and what he can do, and then the movie kind of kicks off to 18 years later, and we get a fucking 40-minute origin that I was like, dude, this is so slow and boring. This is like a drama more than it is like an action movie.
And you bring in Russell Crowe, who's an amazing actor, and I feel like he's trying in this, but there's nothing to really work
I
for.
think Russell Crowe was on record saying he's like, why'd you take this movie? Paycheck.
And people say that all the time.
I mean, that was a big case with Sydney Sweeney with Madam Web.
For sure.
Of she was like, yeah, I took that to open doors for myself.
And that definitely, I think she kind of started breaking before that a little bit, but that makes total sense to me, for her especially. But I don't know, man. Just all around, they're just trying to force so many things in. The movie doesn't really even progress because of Kraven. He's just kind of this ancillary thing that is brought up through his father, and then the rhinos the bad guy, but he's not really the bad guy.
Rhino.
The real bad guy, Gooch, is toxic masculinity, which they don't really even address at all. Like they kind of try to start like
Russell Crowe's lines of whatever Nikolai Kravinoff. He's like, be a man.
He's like, you're not. Your mother killed herself because she is weak, and you are not
manly.
weak.
Yeah. I'm like, what are these lines?
And then you have his brother, who's being terribly ADR'd the whole time, who can apparently mimic whoever.
He's chameleon.
That's my apologies. By the end, he was therefore chameleon, and he had this
Somehow, yeah.
He got like some type of procedure done by the same doctor who apparently turned the Rhino into the Rhino. That guy felt like he was having some fun at least. Like he wasn't.
I mean,
good.
we never saw him on screen. But...
No, I'm sorry. I mean the actor playing the Rhino.
Oh,
I didn't really like him, but like he at least felt like he was, having a good time and enjoying himself on screen. Everyone else just felt like this. Like, who the fuck are you? I don't give a shit. There's so little to talk about is the sad part too.
Yeah, it's really not an interesting movie. I wouldn't go out to the theater to see it. I wouldn't watch it. I would stay far away from this movie. Instead,
like Madam Web's kind of a fun.
Continue to watch this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give us a like, comment, let us know what you think of all this bullshit.
To be honest, this is probably going to be a short one for you guys, but we will push through here. There's just not much going on, and you don't even really know what the plot, like the driving force of the plot is. So like he runs away when he's a child.
I mean, it's really about him protecting Dima, his brother,
right.
Dimitri.
But like, and how he feels bad about leaving him when he's younger, and that makes sense.
Yeah, that's like the internal plot, but the external plot is like Kraven is killing people who are bad.
Right.
But he is apparently a bad guy. And you see that as he viscerally kills people and stuff like that. But like...
But he's still killing bad dudes.
But otherwise, he's not really a villain.
No, he's not. He's there to help. He's trying to help people, and he's trying to like kill the bad guys. He's going after drug dealers and like people who are poaching and shit like that. So I don't know. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson would have made a really good Kraven in a Spider-Man movie, probably. But this was just so whatever. And I don't know, him not having the accent, I felt didn't feel correct either. Like I felt like he should have been. His dad was much more of the traditional Kraven, than Aaron Taylor Johnson is. Yeah, and again, it comes from this thing that we were talking about, where they want to make the villain the hero, and that's what Sony wants to build this universe on, and they just don't need to do that. Like, I don't know, man. I would have loved to see a version of this where he is Kraven the Hunter, and he's hunting down the Rhino because he is like a really crazy prey that he can take on. And maybe you're looking at this as more as like the Rhino being the good one in the movie, that you are the protagonist, if you will, that you are trying to kind of root for. But I don't know. They just went at it at this stupid angle to just make him a superhero. He's just he's Manimal. Like he's Animal Man.
He's I was thinking animal, vegetable, mineral man.
Yeah, right,
like that guy from DC.
He shows up, I think, in Creature Commander.
He does.
That is insane.
It's such a silly movie. You just can't possibly take seriously. I think I think this was like a worse movie than Madam Web in a lot of ways. I think Madam Web was so dumb, and like me and Trio were just having a really good time. There were a few times we were like cracking up to each other, but like I can't tell you how many times like me and Trio looked at the phone, which I see Trio occasionally doing our theater experiences, but it was like more than usual. And even me, like, I'm like,
what's going on?
We got to get this done. I'm like, and when we got to the ending, like, oh, cool, he kills his dad. Oh God, now we have like, oh, there's more. 1 year later, Dima's now taken over the Kravinoff family, and they say Kravinoff for some reason.
The Kravinovs.
Yeah, and he's chameleon, and he's now Dimitri thinks Kraven or Sergey is worse than his father,
or is the exact same at the very least.
And he leaves him the the iconic lion vest from the comics. It's like, great, now I'm gonna sit here with my fucking oiled up abs and do this.
It was really bad.
It's like he has a huge boner. And he's like looking at it.
It's like, man,
look at my schlong.
It was like that classic thing of like, you're gonna give him his suit at the end of the movie. You're gonna really do this?
I kind of liked his outfit.
No, he looks, dude. Again, his look was
fine.
great. Yeah, it's just more like that's such a cliche.
I hated the look of Rhino. It looked like, again, how you'd see him in the comics or maybe like an animated form, but like it just doesn't translate well to live action. Like it's Rhino with like Rhino human with pants.
He's an anamorph. Yeah, I mean he's a dude. He's the classic Rhino, but like that's always gonna look silly in real life. I think maybe there's a way that you make it look less silly in a better movie. But I didn't hate that.
Like
honestly,
I didn't dislike the way like Rhino looks in the Spider-Man games. I think that's like peak Rhino look. Right. I don't think I loved the way Paul Giamatti Rhino looked, but I didn't think we could get worse than that. And we kind of did. I didn't. Again, I think it's like this like weird dude doing this weird accent with like this backpack of like chems on. He's like, I'm in pain and my skin's turning gray. I'm the Rhino trio. That's why they call me the Rhino, because my skin is gray.
Well, but like, and he looks like a rhino. He has a horn like a rhino. Come on, but like. It is so confusing.
Stupid.
Like, so I don't know. I think the idea in that could be something. It's like, oh, he doesn't like being the Rhino because it hurts. Like his skin's all rocky and it's not great. So that's why he doesn't like to spend time as that. And maybe in a better movie,
maybe he just doesn't want to look like a rhino.
Maybe he doesn't want to look like a rhino man. Or maybe you should fucking just commit to that the whole time. And then you have like the weird hole that he stabs at the end. A lot of like pretty wild violence in this. I'm not gonna lie, but it's few and far between. Like it happens here and there, but for the most part, it's just boring people talking in a room.
And Kraven controls animals.
Does he?
I would say he has some sort of influence over them.
I think he has a connection with them. I didn't get the idea that he like controls them.
Aquaman style.
Okay.
Like I think that's weird.
Well, I mean, he had magic lion blood, Gooch.
I know.
So I think
and then like that Calypso character was just weird. It's like, okay, like. She like it just happens to be at the right place at the right time.
Okay, we need a way.
And now she's a lawyer in London. Like, okay,
we need a way for him to get his magic lion powers, Gooch. So he must have a mystic out there. Who do we got? There's a girl called Calypso. This is them in the writing room. We have a character called Calypso. We can use her. She's a mystic. Okay, cool. Like, it is insane. And listen, I will say one thing.
Calypso is a comic book character.
I'm sure, yeah, that makes sense. So. I'm sure that's...
And the Foreigner is as well.
So that's another person. I'm like, when you asked me...
Who is this?
You were like, who is this? I'm like, what are his powers?
Wait, no. Let's restart. Yeah. This was like one of the funniest things that happened in our viewing where I turned to Tria and I go, who's this Foreigner guy? And Tria goes...
You're like, what does he do? I'm like... I don't know.
He's like,
I didn't even say anything.
No, Tria just like... He's like shrugging and like I just started cracking
I don't know. I have no idea.
I have no
idea, man. And like he has some like Count Vertigo powers where like he like makes people all woozy or like freezes their perception of time. Again, it felt like they were in the writer's room at Sony and being like, who do we own? Well, we have the Foreigner. Okay. What about the Mystic? Calypso. Okay. Use them in the movie. He needs superpowers or else this isn't a superhero movie. So
Calypso is associated with Kraven and Spider-Man and Daredevil.
Makes sense. Okay. So like, yes, Sony definitely has access to her.
Foreigner is a Spider-Man person too.
Right.
Makes sense. I was just like, who the fuck is the Foreigner?
Interesting concept.
Like I've never.
No, yeah.
But like again, like he just has like powers and he's an assassin and like who cares?
And Kraven apparently killed his like. His mentor,
which
I
was like, who's it going to be? Like, who we were revealing it to?
And it's like no one that we ever would know about. It really did feel like just the last grasp. Like, what can we do here? We're flailing. I feel bad for the directors. I feel bad for some of the people involved.
Let me see if this director's done anything.
I think he's done some somewhat notable stuff, which I think surprised me. And again, I do think you just become part of the Sony machine and they're like, this is what we're doing, even more so than almost a Marvel. Or they just don't even know what they're doing. And they're like, we need you to do everything from scratch and figure out our universe for us. Forget everything we've done in the last 3 movies. We're just resetting again. Yes, Michael Keaton's with Morbius for some reason.
Yeah, I was waiting for like, yeah, I think I'm assembling a team eventually. So
a team of 6, a sinister 6.
So he's done 6 other movies.
All right.
Or sorry, 5 other movies.
Hit me. What are they?
Triple Frontier.
Okay.
A Most Violent Year.
Okay.
Margin call. All is lost.
Okay. So
That's it.
nothing of note.
Yeah.
Again, a director Sony can bring in, have the movie written for.
He didn't write this though.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
He didn't write it.
Really bad movie. Really boring.
Art McCarm wrote this. He also wrote Iron Man, Uncharted, Men in Black, The Last Night. And apparently Highlander.
The new one that's coming out. I think that's the one with Henry Cavill that they're making.
Yes.
Yeah, interesting. Writers
Not good.
Listen, there's a gentleman called David Goyer. He written the Gambit, Gooch. He's written like The Dark Knight, and then also
Batman v Superman,
and then also Green Lantern, and then like stuff like so. I think
Avi Rod, producer.
Don't speak his name. Stay away, Avi Aaron. And he's producing the Metal Gear Solid movie and the live action Zelda movie too.
Yeah, it's troublesome.
So that's not great.
Really troublesome.
He was exorcised from the MCU, by the way, by Kevin Feige. He's
a fucking menace.
He is a menace to society, and he's been involved in Spider-Man since like the animated show.
The beginning. Yeah.
So it's tough to divorce him from it, and I mean, I just don't know what he thinks is happening. It really does suck, man, that we've had this year break from Marvel MCU movies. And they've just been like still tainted by like
it's
just
crazy
all these Sony ones coming out.
We saw Madam Web, Venom 3, and this in 1 year.
This was the
year.
This
has been such a disillusionment.
The year of spum, Gooch. That's what it was. And
spum all over your face.
And it was terrible and god awful. And listen, from the trailers on this, I was like, maybe it'll be like fun. Because it looked violent and kinetic and kind of wild.
A lot of the trailer actually comes from like the last scene because like the part in the trailer where he uses like the bear trap on the guy's face. I'm like, there it is.
Yeah, and then like you decide that this is your rated R movie and you don't do Let There Be Carnage rated R. I think that movie Let There Be Carnage is a 75% better film if you can see Carnage do Carnage things. Genuinely, like I think that makes that movie so much better. But
I think there were some lines and some moments in Kraven that were like pretty good.
I'm like, oh, there was something.
Like there's
the perfume line that was good.
Yeah. The perfume line was good, but again, like very silly,
few and far between.
Silly, like the fact that we're even bringing it up is pathetic.
Right.
And we are just giving it anything it can at this point. Like, but there is no redemption for this movie. It is not good. Do not see it. Do not pay.
Even
do not come.
Like you're gonna be bored if you do watch. Like even,
I was so bored.
I rarely am like, don't watch it even if it's for free.
No,
and even
this,
I'm like, don't waste your time. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe if you really like Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Like again, I didn't like Venom, but I was actually entertained by The Last Dance.
Right.
I was like, I'm like, oh, okay, this is fun. This is cool.
Having a good time.
I don't think I noticed any effects issues. I'm curious to think like what effects were even done besides
all
Kraven
the animals
and the rhino and the animals.
Most of them.
The animals look good.
Yeah, I thought they looked fine.
Yeah. But like again, like I just didn't
care.
Yeah. And I won't never think of this movie again after this.
And the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel movies has truly come to an end. R.I.P. Spum. Anything else on Kraven the Hunter, Gooch?
No.
I think that was a quick 20 minutes in and out, unlike the movie, sadly. But thank you all for watching. We really appreciate your time on this live stream. Thank you for watching on twitch.tv/Delco Network. We really do appreciate it. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search our name on your service of choice. We have a Facebook page, Discord channel. We are at Delco Nerds on everything with an @ sign. You can find all this information on our website, DelcoNerdNetwork.com. You can even email us your comments, questions, or concerns to DelcoNerds@gmail.com. We'd be happy to respond to you. But if you'd like, comment, share, subscribe as well. That really goes a long way to help us here at the network. For Gooch, though, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.